Hey all, yes, it started recording. I'm not really sure when it starts recording. Um, anyway, so hey everyone, and how you all doing? How are you? How's everyone today? I'm actually doing pretty good today because I've had a bit of success with my struggles with AWS. Um, so I've managed to get something going with AWS S3, like host a static website. I did manage to get that going last week as well, but the difference now is that I actually understand how everything works, like how all pieces understand all different pieces of the puzzle. So that's that's a great accomplishment for now. So yeah, as such, I haven't really done a lot of coding today. I haven't really added any code to my repositories, React, TypeScript, todo, and Node TypeScript CRUD notes. Those two GitHub repos of mine. I haven't added anything to that. I haven't added any code to that as of today. Um, since morning, I was just trying to get this, figure out these AWS issues that I've been having, and now I've got a better understanding of the whole aspect of S3, hosting a site in S3 was as well as pointing custom domain to Route 53 and then routing all the traffic from there to S3, the S3 bucket where the site is hosted. I understand all these things a lot better now. I also understand how to sort of how to get the how to point your custom domain to an Elastic Beanstalk instance, like an API on Elastic Beanstalk, uh, to call invoke the endpoints on the API on the REST API that's deployed on you know um, Elastic Beanstalk, and then so once you've actually pointed that, once you've got your custom domain pointing to the Elastic Beanstalk app or your REST API hosted on Elastic Beanstalk, then you can just use your custom domain to actually to invoke to consume that API. All those things I understand. How all those things, how all those pieces of the puzzle fit together. I did learn a lot of this like a year and a half ago when I was doing my startup. Actually, more like a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago. But then, see, as over time, I work on a whole bunch of different things. I tend to forget that. So, as such, there's always like this thing about I have to relearn and just refamiliarize myself with some of these concepts. Having said that, the whole concept of hosting a static website on AWS S3 bucket is new to me in the sense that this is the first time that I'm actually doing this. And having done that, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's really not that hard. It's very simple. But as I mentioned before, the issue with the issue with AWS, Amazon Web Services, is that there's a whole lot of documentation and it's all over the place. So it will take you a little bit of time to find the document or the article that will help you achieve what you want to achieve. So there is that. It's like this. The documentation is this big sea of a whole bunch of useful resources, of which it's not everything is useful. Not everything solves. Not everything will help you solve the problem that you're trying to solve. So it's like it really is a lot more like a treasure hunt when you when you try to find some help from the AWS docs. Anyway, so yeah, today I did manage to figure out one of the figure out the solution to one of the problems that I was facing, and in that, so when you host an S3 when you host a static website on an S3 bucket, uh, to point your custom domain on Route 53 onto that, it's there's a little caveat there, and by all means, this is also mentioned in the AWS docs. Like if you see that there's a little there's a short paragraph in the AWS docs in the official tutorial on the AWS docs, which talks about this thing that your the name of your bucket should correspond to the domain that you have on your Route 53. So whether it's a domain that you've actually acquired through Route 53, or it's a domain that you've got sitting somewhere on, say, GoDaddy or Crazy Domains or something like that, or one of those sites, or third-party websites. So it all works, but you just need to make sure that the name of the bucket is the exact same. It corresponds to the name of the custom domain. So that's a little caveat, and this you may be scratching your head a little bit, but then there is a tutorial on the Amazon website, on the AWS website, that talks about all these things, and there's that little fine detail that you need to look into. And what I'll be doing is that I'll actually write a quick little blog post on this, just about how to deploy a static website on AWS S3. And what I'll be doing is I'll also add a little bit about, so if you've got a domain sitting somewhere else, like for example in my case I had my domain on godaddy.com. So if you've got a domain on godaddy.com, like I'll also add a little bit about that, like how you create a hosted zone on Route 53, and then you update the name servers in your GoDaddy, and so on and so forth. So I will be adding those things to it. The one little thing that I found out today that I did not know about is how expensive it is to have a certificate. So you know how you want to serve your content via a secure connection, that's HTTPS. Now to do so you need a certificate, and you can request a certificate in the certificate manager in on AWS, and it's all very easy, super simple. It's very straightforward to do that. But once your free tier expires, there is a cost associated with it, and it's not cheap. It's actually fairly significant. So that's one of those gotcha that you need to be aware of. So once you've got everything going and it all looks really good, and you're happily serving your content through your S3 bucket and whatnot, and you also manage to serve it by a secure connection, you've got a certificate, it all works great. But once your free tier expires, and you may be presented with a bit of a shock that, oh my god, this is that expensive. Yeah. So it was fairly, so I've been requesting quite a few certificates, for like the domains that I've pointed to, that are pointed to AWS Route 53, and it's pretty easy to do so. But just today I realized that, okay, there's a cost involved in it. So yeah, there's that. So that's something that you need to be aware of. So once your free tier expires, just make sure you're aware of the bill that you're going to get, so you're not met with with an unpleasant surprise when you get your bill, AWS bill. So I'm only just using these certificates for the first time on AWS, because in the past, like as of now, the mydaytodo.com is being served from a secure connection. And how that works is that's deployed on a shared hosting, on AT hosting. It's a WordPress site. It's deployed through shared hosting, and to serve it by a secure connection, I'm using Cloudflare, because Cloudflare has a free tier, and then you can actually secure your endpoint. And similar to AWS CloudFront, it's a CDN, so it ensures like fast delivery. It ensures that your website is fast and responsive, quick delivery of resources, if that's the right thing to say. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been up to, and I'll be writing a blog post, and as usual I'll put a link in the description to my GitHub repositories, as well as this little blog post that I'm going to write. I'll keep it short. I'm not going to delve into very detailed explanations of everything like I have done in the past, in the years before. But what I will do is I'll actually put a link to some of the resources that I found really useful while learning all of this, because at the end of the day, more than anything, what I'm hoping to accomplish by this blogging and making videos and all of this is that, so people don't have to spend as much time on the problems that I've spent time on. So when you, so it saves the next person the time that it cost me. So my pain, your gain, as simple as that. So yeah, that's that is that, and I'll also find out how to actually do like a picture in picture. I've seen like sites on YouTube, sites. I've seen people making videos on YouTube where they've got a little there's like a little picture in picture thing. You can see their face or something on the screen, and then they're showing you the tutorial, like they're doing the screen share. So I'll try to work out how I can do that. If I can do that, I suppose it will make help to explain some of these concepts via pointing you all through the code that I'm writing and all that. So that would help. But until I figure out those things, I'll make videos like this. So yeah, hopefully you find the links in the description of this video useful. So please, so for all my repositories on GitHub or any of my blog posts, should you have something to add, please either create an issue on the GitHub repository or contribute code. It's open source, so sharing is caring, and as an individual, we're smart, we're awesome, but together we get smarter. So long live open source. Alright, so that's all for today, and I wish you all live long and prosper.